evening, everyone. I am starting this session. I am Orina Bordhon. I am part of Contact Base. We are a social organization. We have been working for more than 2 decades now. We are working in the domains of child rights, women's rights, and rights, enabling rights, ensuring rights for indigenous population. For the last 2 years, we have been working rigorously for enabling more participation and encouraging more participation and leadership of women in the workplace. Because we have seen during pandemic and even after that, there has been a reduction in the percentage of women participation in the workplace, primarily the formal workplace. And there is also a need to strengthen the leadership of women. And in doing so, what we have been doing for the last 2-3 years is we are trying to develop a solution support network, which we call as womenforeconomy.net, which is a platform that is trying to connect women entrepreneurs, women-led businesses with the right resources, with the mentors all across eastern and northeastern part of India. We are also collaborating with our stakeholders from Bangladesh and Nepal. And we are trying to build a women-led ecosystem across the South Asia. And the whole idea is to develop their leadership and participation. And in doing so, we are connecting with more than 70 mentors and experts who have been doing businesses, who are excelling in different domains. And we are trying to connect them with the mentors. We are trying to connect them with the startups. And here we are doing different sessions every week, and we are calling that Mentoring Mondays. Last week, we had the opportunity to listen to 2 experts in the domain of branding and marketing. And this week, we are very happy to have Mr. Amitava Bakshi, who himself is a pioneer in the field of supply chain management, especially procurement, to be here delivering a talk on supply chain management for the women entrepreneurs. Let me tell you, today is also a very special day because today is World Entrepreneurs Day. We celebrate these entrepreneurs. We are trying to support these entrepreneurs in their endeavor to do their business, grow their business. So on today's World Entrepreneurs Day, we are very happy to have Mr. Amitava Bakshi. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our session. Let me introduce briefly Mr. Amitava Bakshi to all of you. He is the former Chief Procurement Officer at Tata Steel and currently the President of Association of Supply Chain Professionals. He has strong functional expertise in strategic sourcing, procurement processes, and supply chain management. He has been in this industry for more than 3 decades, and he has been pioneering in the field of supply chain management, especially procurement, and having an illustrious service in Tata Steel, including 5 years as Managing Director of a JV company, Jamipol. The company has seen 4 times growth in revenue with 2 times growth in bottom line in 5-year tenure, in his 5-year tenure, with strategic diversification of businesses, expanded portfolio, and reinforced business processes. He has an extensive expertise in strategic sourcing. He has an amazing experience in strategic sourcing, supply chain management, business process development, and cost-saving initiatives. So we are very proud to have Mr. Bakshi here with us, joining as one of the experts and mentors in our ecosystem. because our whole idea is to inspire each other and to help these entrepreneurs. So, sir, as you know, our women entrepreneurs, many of them have started their business and they are seeking help from experts like you, and especially with regards to logistics, cost of transportation and everything. And most of our entrepreneurs are from northeastern side of the country. So here we are for your session. And this session will be moderated by my senior colleague, Mr. Jamil Akhtar, who has an extensive career in sales and marketing with several organizations. So here I give the mic to Mr. Jamil Akhtar to conduct this session. And I welcome everyone. And you can please post your questions, and with all your permission, we are recording this session. If any one of you have any problem, please let us know. And when Mr. Bakshi starts his session, I would like to request everyone to please mute their audio and also switch off their videos. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marina, for setting the context and the reason why we're here. Good evening, everyone. I won't take much time. Supply chain management is a very vast subject, and it's a very, very important aspect of business, especially those companies, those firms who are engaged into manufacturing. Okay. Now, if you see, as I have told you, it's a very vast subject. It starts with, obviously it starts with planning, and then procurement, then procurement of your, raw material, etc., for manufacturing. And for that, you also need involved inbound logistics, then the actual manufacturing process, or other actual manufacturing, then storage and warehousing, then outbound logistics, and then distributions. And in many cases, even the, even the service that you need to provide, that also part of the supply chain. So it's a very vast and important aspect of the business. And it's important mainly because of three reasons. And these three reasons is applicable for everyone. And why we should, understand the various nuances and various important aspect of supply chain. One is because of the cost, because supply chain will take bulk of your cost, because it involves manufacturing, logistics, distributions, everything. So cost. So if you understand what all is required to manage it effectively, you'll be able to bring down the cost. Thereby, you will improve the gross margin, or rather the margin that you earn, which will lead to higher profitability. So that's point number one, is very, very important. Point number two is the investment, especially the working capital that is deployed. Because what you do is basically you, with cash, you go and buy raw materials, and then you manufacture, and then you sell, and finally you will collect the cash. This is called cash conversion cycle. So if you manage the supply chain effectively, your cash conversion cycle will be lower. So you will be able to manage the business with lower working capital. But if you do not know how to manage it, then chances are there you will invest more amount of money and you will not be able to manage the fund properly. Most of you have limited budgets, limited investment. So it's very important to understand that aspect also. So one is cost, another is investment, especially the working capital investment. And third most important, another important thing is the customer service. So it takes a lot of effort to get a new customers and or also retain them. So unless you give them good service to them, you'll not be able to retain them. You'll not be able to get a good share of business. So that is going to affect your business. So very important to have a good procurement. In the procurement side, you have got lined up all the people who are giving you all the raw materials. Then you have got the logistics partner, etc., so that you can service your customers well and on time. So if there is any frequent availability issues, frequent issues in logistics, etc., that is going to affect your customer service. So these are the three things why supply chain is very, very important. Amitava is going to talk about that. the way we have structured that he is going to make a small presentation on supply chain. And then the idea is to take a lot of questions from you, because you are, many of you are starting the business and you are taking the advantage of the, various new ecosystem, various new supply chain model, distribution model that has been created now because of technology, etc. So we'll talk about that. We'll focus more on that so that, you can take benefits. But before that, you'll give a brief idea about supply chain and the various aspects. So without much detailing, I want to hand over to Amitava. And our idea is that we should take more questions from you, and we try to, give you some guidance, some solution to you for your business. Okay. So with that, I would like to hand over to Amitava.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jamil. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
Thank you. So, thank you, Orina and Jamil, for giving me this opportunity of speaking to all the entrepreneurs on this very special day of World Entrepreneurship Day. My compliments and best wishes to all the entrepreneurs over here and who are probably connected with us on Facebook Live, and others, of course, particularly the women entrepreneurs, for your spirit and your inspiration to actually build business. My kudos and best wishes to all of you. Today, we want to spend some time to understand, the supply chain associated with any business, whether it is manufacturing or service. But yes, as Jamil rightly mentioned, that supply chain challenges certainly are more in manufacturing, and it of course brings in a lot of challenges and lot of influence in the success of any business, whether it is manufacturing or it is service. So I would like to spend around 20-25 minutes with a presentation on supply chain, as well as some challenges that social entrepreneurs face in setting up and growing their businesses, and then we can open the house for question and answers, and I would be more than happy to field the questions that we want to take. Okay, so having said that, now I would like to start my presentation. So to start with my presentation, I would like to have a quick understanding of what is supply chain management. Okay, so as far as supply chain management is concerned, as Jamil was explaining a little while back, that it actually is encompasses the entire movement of material as well as information from one end to the other end of the business, starting from our suppliers who supply the raw material that is used for manufacturing or producing the product that we want to sell in our business. And once that product is manufactured, it is distributed into the market through our distribution channel, which can be through the retailers, or there are other means of it which we will discuss as we go forward, and then finally it reaches the consumer. Okay, who's the main objective, or who's the main customer for our business. And the information flows on the reverse direction, that is from consumer to retailer to distributor to manufacturer and finally to the supplier. Now, if we see the elements of supply chain, there are 5 elements of supply chain that we have to keep into consideration. One is the planning. It starts with the planning function, and this is the planning that one does for designing how much to produce based on the market demand. And then once that planning is done, and I will get into the details of each one of them subsequently, so I am very briefly touching upon in this slide. The second is procurement or sourcing, as we say, of the raw material. The third is the manufacturing, which is here. And fourth is the distribution, and then finally, what is also very important is to see that what is the reverse logistics policy that we have, the return policy that we have. If we if the consumer is not happy with our supply and then wants to return back the product, so that is also a very important element of supply chain that we have to take into consideration when we are doing this manufacturing. Now coming to planning function. Okay, so in the planning function, first and foremost is to understand what is the customer demand in the market. Okay, so once we understand the customer demand in the market, and this demand can be in the form of quality of goods that we are selling to them, the price that they are expecting from us, the quantity or the volume of products that is required in the market, or that is demanded by the market, is all that comes in the customer demand. From there we get into backwards, and if you see, this is how we are seeing how the information is flowing backwards. If you remember our first slide, we had said while product moves from supplier to consumer, information flows backwards from consumer to supplier. So from the consumer or the customer, we then plan for the production. So we go to the production, that how do we plan our production? Okay, and this production planning again is important as far as the material quality is concerned, the volume is concerned, the cost is concerned, all that is taken into consideration. From this production plan, we plan our raw material requirement. Okay, so we plan our raw material requirement, we get into sourcing the raw materials at the right cost, at the right time, and as well as the right quality. Okay, then what is important for us is to plan our production capacity, that if we want to cater to a particular market, the volume in the market that we want to cater to, is our production capacity in line with the the market demand. And if it, can I request you to go on mute, please? Thank you. So that production capacity is something that we have to take into consideration, that we have enough capacity to produce and sell in the market. And last but not the least is the human resource or staffing. Okay, so that human resource, again, how many labor, how many employees you need to have in your business so that you can produce the right volume of material that is sold in the market, as well as to run your business, what is the kind of requirement you will have as far as human resources concerned. Now at this stage, I would like you to take certain points into consideration. Okay. One important point in the planning function is that when you are planning your production, there are two ways to do the production planning. One is made to order, okay, that you kind of first get the order from the market and then you produce or manufacture that product that is required in the market, and finally you will sell it in the market. So it is back to back production based on the order. The second is made to stock. Now made to stock is something which is where you are saying that I know that my material will be, my product will be sold in the market and I have a very high volume sale. It is important that I do not lose market sales. So I will produce my product and stock it and immediately sell when there is an order. Okay. Now these two planning process is essential. When, let us say, you are manufacturing a product which is very customized, which has a very unique specification. It is very much designed as per the customer's requirement. Now these kind of products you plan to produce as per order. So you get the order and you back to back produce it and deliver it to the customer. But if you are in certain business where your products are very continuous selling high volume products, okay, which that every month you will be you have a steady sales of certain volume, then what is important that you do not lose the sales volume on every week basis, month basis. So for that, what is important is to probably plan the manufacturing as per stock. So made to stock. So this is where you are replenishing your stock, that every month I sell, let us say, 1000 units of my product. So I know for sure that every month I will have a sales of 1000 units plus minus whatever 5-10%. So I will produce so that I kind of always keep the volume or the stock of my finished goods, let us say 1 month or 1 week, whatever you decide, and you keep on manufacturing to stock. So this is how you have to plan the whether to produce as per order or as per produce to stock. Okay. Now the next thing is sourcing of raw material. Now to source the raw material, what are the important things? One is to meet the specification of the raw material that is required to produce the product. Okay. So very important that whatever raw material you are sourcing, it should meet the specification of the raw material requirement of your production. The second is the price of this raw material should meet the market expectation. If let us say the market expects your product pricing to be at a particular level, you should make sure that your raw material price is such that the cost of this production should meet the price expectation of the market, and also leave with you some profit, because after all everybody is doing business to generate some profit, right? The third thing which is important in sourcing is to always make sure that in the sourcing process there is flexibility to meet emergency requirements. All of you in business, that every time there is, or many times there is such emergency requirement which comes up, that suddenly there is an increase in volume of sales from any one customer or multiple customers, and you need to now make sure that you want to produce and meet that increased demand. So your raw material, supplier should also have the flexibility to immediately supply this raw material to you. And last but not the least, that the raw material should be supplied in time and in good quality, right? So this is very important, because the availability is something which is very critical for us to ensure that our business continues smoothly. What are the points to consider in this? That one is, if you are in perishable goods business, for example, if you are in food products, okay, then let's say you make jam, or you make pickle, or you make this, let's say, or ketchup, okay. So if you are in the business of making ketchup, then what is your raw material? Let us say tomatoes, okay. Now if you are then sourcing tomato, then you know that tomato has a shelf life. If you keep it for a long time, it will kind of get what do you say, spoiled. So it is important that you are conscious of the shelf life of the raw material that you are buying if you are in this kind of a business. And second thing which is very important is the inventory. Okay, we all know why it is important to make sure that we keep the right inventory in our system as far as the raw material is concerned, because too much of inventory will of course make you very comfortable that you will always have the material in your hand to produce whenever there is a requirement. But what will that actually give you a challenge is this working capital that Jamil was alluding to. That working capital, that is the cash that you are using to buy this raw material, gets locked, right? It is lying in that inventory. That cash is lying in the inventory, and that is why it is increasing the cash cycle which Jamil was alluding to. And everybody in business knows that our cash cycle, that is the cash that we are spending in buying our raw material, manufacturing it, and then selling it in the market and collecting the cash back from the customer as per the product price. Okay, that cash cycle from spending the cash to earning the cash should be as quick as possible. If it is as quick as possible, and if it is a very short cash cycle, then you are actually running your business very well. So very important that inventory should be well balanced in this particular aspect. The next part of the elements of the 5 elements is manufacturing. Okay, now this is where everybody who is in in product business knows that it is all about transforming the raw material to finished product. Okay, and it requires lot of skill to probably transform the raw material to finished product. It may require machineries, it may require labor, it may require power or energy to convert this raw material to finished product. And there can be multiple stages in this. Okay, one is converting the raw material and assembling. Then after assembly, you do the testing, you do the inspection, and finally the packaging. Okay, packaging is very important. We all know who are in the business that in today's times the customer will always get attracted to the product by seeing the package that you are having on the product. So packaging is very important. Again, points to consider: the inventory, which is again, as I said, it is very important that the inventory is kept in a very balanced way. Inventory of the work in progress, that as we say, the WIP or work in progress inventory, as well as the finished goods inventory. The second thing is the manufacturing cost, because if you keep the cost of manufacturing lower, then you can price your product in the market attractively, and that you can do if you can reduce waste, waste generation in your production process, as well as rejection. Rejection is another very important thing that you have to take into consideration, that your percentage rejection should be very low, so that you are not generating more and more waste products, because all this money that you have spent in your raw material, in your production process, actually goes waste if your product is not meeting the specifications. Then coming to delivery, it is all about distribution. All of you are aware, and we will discuss this in more details, because I know there are a lot of challenges in distribution in your business. So distribution, what is most important is that the distribution should be robust. What I mean by robust is that it should be very streamlined, it should be very smooth, it should be timely and safe way to distribute the product from our factory or place where we are manufacturing to our customers. And most important is cost-effective logistics. Okay. What are the points to consider? Please, understand this thing, that at this stage, your customer is first time coming in contact with your product. So this is a very important aspect, that your brand is always looked in very high esteem, or is always respected, because of the first touch point, that is meeting the delivery schedule in time and in full. Today all of you must be using buying lot of material from various e-commerce sites like Amazon, Flipkart, etc. First and foremost thing that they do is they will give you a commitment that if you book this product today, then you will get it delivered on so and so date. And once you book the product, because if you think that yes, this delivery schedule is okay with me, and I am okay to get the material by this date, and once you book the product, immediately they start communicating to you that how you are, at what stage your order is. Is it under manufacturing stage? It is under delivery stage. When will it get delivered? Okay. And most of the time you will find that they actually deliver it exactly on the committed date, or even before that. And there is hardly a situation where they will be delayed from their committed date. And if there is such a situation, they will immediately communicate that we regret and we are very sorry that for certain unavoidable reasons your product will reach you maybe one day later or whatever. Okay, that communication is very important. So what I am trying to say is that at this stage the delivery is extremely important, because that will actually uphold your brand in the minds of your customer. Okay, that yes, this is one company, this is one firm, or this is one seller who meets the committed delivery exactly in time and in full. The second thing to achieve that, what is important is that you should also have your distribution mechanism in two ways. So backup or diversified distribution methods is very important, so that if one mode of logistics or distribution fails, you should be in a position to deliver it through your alternate distribution mechanism. And last but not the least, again, what I was wanting to what I told you earlier is packaging. Now, this packaging is what is very important, because the packaging will be something that you will always, will always attract the customer. Okay, and the packaging is not about only making it very attractive. It is also about making the product very safe. Let us say if you are in a business of a product which is breakable, then how well do you package your product when you are delivering it to the customer, that 100 out of 100 times the product reaches the customer absolutely, scratch free. So that is why it is very important that the packaging should be attractive, it should be very safe, and it should hold the product or retain the original quality of the product absolutely properly. Okay. Last but not the least, as I was telling you, is the return policy. Okay, the return policy is again very important. That it is not only important that we sell the product to the customer, but that customer, if for any reason is not happy with the product or is not meeting the requirement of the product, then you should also have a return policy which will, kind of be quite smooth and easy for the customer to follow, and accordingly whatever is the appropriate refund is given to the customer. Today all of you would know in your business as well as in your personal life that when we go to e-commerce site, the first and foremost thing that the e-commerce platform will talk about or even advertise, that how easy is their return policy. Why it is so important? Because see, in e-commerce platform, you are actually not touching or feeling the product or seeing the product in physical form. You are, placing your order based on the picture. Now the picture can be 2-dimensional, it can be 3-dimensional, showing it from all directions, etc. But still it is a picture. So when finally the product reaches, then they actually see physically the product, and if they like it, if they don't like it or it does not meet their expectation, naturally they would either think of returning it or returning it. If they think of returning it, you should have a process of return logistics or reverse logistics, as they say. You know that even in car industry, there are from time to time, product recalls from the factory. If they know that any one lot of product has gone with some defect in the market, they would recall the product or the car and they will rectify it. Okay, so like that, it is very important that you make the customer very comfortable with your product. And what is important for you is to monitor that what is the percentage return that you are getting, and whether the percentage return is as low as possible. Okay, then again that should be properly facilitated by reverse logistics, because the reverse logistics, while we are always very keen to make sure that we have the logistics, proper cost effective logistics to reach our product to the consumer, similarly we should also have a arrangement of reverse logistics which should also be cost effective, because after all that logistics cost also most of the time the factory or the business kind of bears, so that it reaches back to the business, and the consumer is in no way inconvenienced for the reverse logistics. And of course, then you assign the appropriate refund if you feel that yes, this actually calls for a refund. What are the points to be considered in this? One is defective product, right? That, see, the point is not that when the product reaches the consumer, the product is considered to be not meeting the specification and returning back. It can happen because of internal miscommunication also. For example, in our production process, if there are defective products getting created, are we segregating them properly? If you are not segregating them properly, it might get mixed up in the finished product, and a defective product can go to the consumer. The second one is expired product. Let us say your product has a shelf life. Okay, then are you segregating any expired product that has crossed the date of expiry, or lastly the non-conforming product which is not meeting the specification. So these are the details of the 5 elements of supply chain, which is very important for any business, and certainly for small entrepreneurs like all of you. From here on, what I want to now move to is the challenges that the social entrepreneurs are facing today. And this is something which you have also echoed when Contact Base had reached out to you for your inputs of various challenges that you are facing as a social entrepreneur. The first and foremost challenges that I see, and if I have assessed all that inputs that have come from all of you, I broadly categorize it into 5 categories of challenges that you are facing. First and foremost is the raw material sourcing. I know many of you are operating from Northeast, particularly from Nagaland, Dimapur, and area around that, and there the raw material sourcing of proper quality and appropriate cost, you are facing challenges, and that is something which definitely is something which is which needs to be addressed. Okay. Now, as far as proper quality is concerned and landed cost is concerned, you have to certainly make sure that you specify your raw material quality specification properly. Okay, and have some kind of inspection of the raw material when it actually reaches your factory to make sure that you are receive the right quality of raw material before you pay for it. And the second is the landed cost. Okay, the cost of sourcing this raw material from the point of sale to your factory is important, and that logistics cost has to be taken into consideration. And as I see that some of you have such challenges, and we can discuss that in the open house. The second challenge that I have understood is warehousing of raw material and finished goods. Okay, and there are many types of warehousing, as you are aware in your business, that for raw material, and that too different types of raw material. Some are raw materials with shelf life, some are raw materials without shelf life, some are some finished goods with shelf life, some are finished goods without shelf life. So how can we have available warehouses near your factory or near the consumer? And this is very important for you to understand that where should you store your product. It is important to understand that raw material warehousing or storing has to be close to your factory. But when it comes to finished goods, would you like to store the product near your factory, or you would like to store the product near your customers? Okay, so that is an important decision to be taken. And the second is the availability of such warehouses. The third important challenge is marketing of the product. Okay. Now, in marketing of the product, what is important is, how can you expand the market? How can you expand your customer base? And many of you have raised this, challenge, that you want to grow your business, you want to grow your customers, your market, how to do it. Okay. And second one is, how do we promote the product or the brand in the market? Okay. So these are the three challenges. The fourth challenge is cost effective distribution, right? Do you have reliable transporters? Do you have reliable logistics partners who will do the distribution for you in a reliable manner and in a cost effective manner? And lastly, about inventory management, that how are you planning your sales and production in such a way that you have the right quantity of inventory, of raw material, of manufactured products, as well as finished goods in the market, so that your cash is not locked in excess, or your inventory is also not so small that you are not meeting the demand of the customers. Okay. So, and that can only happen if you have a proper visibility of inventory. Okay. That visibility of inventory is very important. That, do we know how much inventory we are holding in our raw material? Do we know how much inventory we are holding in our factory? Do we know how much inventory we are holding in our products, final finished product stores? Okay. So that is very important, that the visibility is there. I will stop here. Okay. Because these challenges, as I have captured from all of your inputs, I have noted down. We will get back to this, these two slides more often in our subsequent part of our session. And I would now like to listen to all of you, that what kind of challenges you have and how we can address the challenge if required. So I will take a pause here. Thank you very much for patient hearing. And now it is over to Jamil to please moderate the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitava. Thank you so much for making such a lucid presentation on a vast subject. In few slides, you have covered almost every aspect of supply chain. In fact, each slide can be a session itself, but you have covered it so nicely. Thank you very much. We have requested all of them to give their queries and questions, etc. We have got few, but not exactly related to supply chain. Nonetheless, we will try to address them. And I'm requesting all of you, please share your questions which are related to supply chain. And we have an expert here, a very eminent speaker. You have heard him. So he will try to give you some solution, some guidance on that. So let me begin with one question that came, that has come from Amrapari. They are a social enterprise. They are working in a remote village in Assam and working with rural women, who makes embroidery products like TATA products and other apparel products. And what I understand is that their raw material is mainly clothes, threads, buttons, yarns, etc. So they are asking you that how to keep the manufacturing cost low for a product like this. So if you can tell us what are the typical 2-3 things that a smaller entrepreneur can do to keep the overall manufacturing cost low.
A very good question, and thank you for asking this question, because what is extremely important is to have a very constant focus on the cost of manufacturing. Okay, while of course I am not an expert in this business of textile or in yarns manufacturing, but I can in general tell you that
Right.
what are the important things that you should take into consideration for manufacturing, to keep the manufacturing cost low. See, first and foremost, to keep the manufacturing cost low, in my understanding, is to see that what is your process of manufacturing? Is it machinery based or is it, handloom based? The machine loom based or handloom based? If it is largely machine loom based, then what is the thing to be considered? That you have invested in machinery cost, right? There are a lot of fixed assets. So in your manufacturing cost, fixed cost is something which is high. Okay. So to manage this fixed cost or keep it low, the only thing that you can do is to ensure that you have high volume of production. If you have high volume of production, you can apportion or you can reduce the fixed cost per unit of production, okay, and ensure that you keep the production cost low. The second thing which is important, of course, high volume of production would essentially mean that you have to work backwards. You have to first, ensure that you generate that kind of demand in the market, okay, that you have high volume in your sales, target, and then accordingly you manufacture in high volumes so that your fixed cost is lower. The second important point in manufacturing cost is to ensure that you have, a very close monitoring of the inventory of various stages of manufacturing. Okay, are you keeping lot of intermediate products when you are manufacturing? Because every production process has various stages of manufacturing, right? At every stage, are you I mean, any manufacturing process will have inventory. So your manufacturing process should be designed in such a way that you keep minimum inventory at every intermediate stage. Okay, because keeping high inventory at intermediate stage essentially is actually impacting your cost because your cash is locked in that. Okay, and the third very important point is the rejection, okay, or the wastage. Okay, that how are we ensuring that our quality, quality assurance or quality compliance is near to 100%. Okay, because more and more your quality is 100% first time. If your product, let us say you produce 1,000 units of the product, and if you are able to produce all 1,000 units as per the market specification, then you don't have any wastage. And because, but if you, let us say, have 20 non-conforming products, so what happens is rejection at this stage actually, entire cost of raw material, entire cost of production actually goes into the drain, right? It actually gets wasted. So to keep the overall cost low, you have to ensure that your quality compliance is near to 100%. Okay, these are largely what are the things that you should look at to make sure that your manufacturing cost is kept at a low level.
Yeah, thank you, Da. There is one more question, but I don't know if that is a supply chain question, which is they are selling it through their products through some wholesalers, and they need to extend a lot of credit to them to the extent of 4 to 5 months. They are saying that, how do we, reduce it because we can't stop that. Is there anything that you can suggest? They want to bring down the credit. Credit time that they have given to their customers.
Yeah.
Any?
No, this is a very important part of the business, because
Yes.
there are some businesses in which the consumers actually may not be the end consumer.
He's
It
talking
may
about
be
the
the
wholesalers. They are distribution partner. Yeah.
correct.
Right.
In this distribution business where you sell your product through wholesale, through retail, I have seen how these collectors, people who collect the cash from various retail shops or from the distributors, they keep going to the shop every day and say, boss, can you give us some money? Okay, I have given you so much of product. And what the retail shopkeeper says, no, now the product has not yet been sold. Let the product get sold and then I will pay you. Okay, so this is what is a typical scenario in a traditional distribution business. Okay, if this is the kind of scenario, there are many who kind of say that I will switch over to e-commerce business. Okay, e-commerce business that way is actually has a much shorter cash cycle. Okay, e-commerce business is kind of immediately you get back the cash. It also, the dependency on the distributor and retailers also come down. Okay, because today if you are selling your product to distributors and retailers, they actually are they have the bargaining power because they are selling your product, so they kind of dictate terms with you. Okay, but if you do it through e-commerce platform, then it is very important, it is interesting that you will always find that you will sell the product and get the money. Okay, that may be one way. But the second way is, if you are not able to reduce the credit cycle, okay, if you have to continue with your traditional distribution business, you can't reduce the credit cycle, then another way to manage your working capital is, can you increase your supplier's credit cycle? Okay, so your raw material supply, okay, let us say if you are getting your product, the money back from for your products, final sale of your product in 3 months. Okay, so then how can you also have a similar credit period with your suppliers of 3 months? This is another way you can balance your working capital requirement. As they say in the financial statements, that what is your debtor cycle and what is your creditor cycle.
Right.
So debtor cycle is what you have to collect from the market, from your customers, and what creditor cycle is what you have to pay back to your suppliers. Okay, so if your debtor cycle and creditor cycle match, then your working capital is safe. Otherwise, if your debtors are more than your creditors, then you have to continuously manage short-term capital to fund your business. So these are one or two ways that you can think of to manage this credit cycle challenge.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amitava. In fact, taking a cue from what you have just told, one is that, setting up a traditional distribution channel it will require a lot of investment, it will require a lot of time, and you need a lot of muscles to build that over a period of time. It can only happen then if you are a great brand, you have got investment backup, etc. But for smaller enterprise like that we have, who have just started, they are actually, trying to take the advantage of the new ecosystem that has been created, then the new channel that has come up because of the, various technology that we see, like e-commerce, going direct to the customers, etc. All those platforms like, now Wendy's is coming. So these are some of the things, which will help them to reach their customers without much investment, and they can quickly collect their cash. Now, while this sounds very easy and convenient and a solution for their supply chain nightmares, what are the challenges that you see there, and especially for a smaller business? If you can just tell us, because many of them have not set up their distribution channel or their e-commerce business. They have not done. Some of them have done. Rest are selling mainly through their own personal contract, through mailers, and through some B2B customers. So if you can just tell us, it will be very useful for them, those who are planning to sell it through the e-commerce platforms, various e-commerce platforms.
No, thank you, Jamil, for this important question. And as I was saying earlier, I hope my screen is visible. First and foremost, how do we promote our product and how do we expand our market? The third point on the screen. Okay, and we know that it is not easy for small businesses to really spend a lot of money to advertise their product, advertise their brand. So here the e-commerce platform comes in very handy. So the e-commerce platform is very, it is very quick way to promote your brand, okay, to promote your product, because you don't have to go to the customers. It is the platform which will attract customers. And today these e-commerce platforms are also, very well active in social media, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Instagram, whether it is any other, social media platform. Through that, it actually goes viral. Everybody who uses Facebook, I personally use Facebook also. I see the moment I open the Facebook, immediately there are so many, kind of advertised products. And these all come from the platforms. Okay. So my suggestion would be that if banglanatok.com can connect various, of our entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, platforms, which are into this kind of, products, then it would be very, I think, very useful for them to promote and expand their customer base. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two is what you said, that while it looks easy, but what is the difficulty in it? Okay, before I get into the difficulty, the second advantage I will tell you is the logistics. Most of these platforms actually tie up with their own logistics. Okay, they have their own logistics partners. So these logistics partners only help in picking up the product from your factory and delivering it to the customer. Okay? So the logistics partner, because the platform is also conscious that the logistics and delivery mechanism is robust and it kind of ensures that the product is reaches the customer in time, as we were discussing earlier. But what is the challenge here? The challenge here is that as an entrepreneur, as a business house, if I am in a platform and I make a commitment that yes, I can deliver these goods, if booked today, I can deliver in 3 days or I can deliver in 7 days, then I have to meet that commitment 100% of the time. I have to meet the commitment of not only delivery, but also the quality. Whatever is the quality that I am, posting in the platform, I have to deliver the same quality, because every platform, they monitor what is the return percentage of a particular product from a particular seller. And if a seller percentage of return is high, they will not continue with that seller. If a seller is not able to meet the delivery commitment, they will not continue with that seller. Why? Because they are also very conscious about the brand of their platform. They want to make sure more and more customers come to their brand because of the reliability and robustness of quality, cost, and delivery that the platform will, provide to the consumers. So that is why, while it is much easier to actually do business in the platform, but you have to be also very sure that you are meeting all the commitments that you are making to the platform. So these are my suggestions to this particular subject.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I think this will be useful for them. Definitely, we work with many of them and we try to set them up and try to give them access to market in various ways. But there are certain compliance related things which are mandatory, like GSTs, etc. Many of our entrepreneurs find it difficult because of these, regular filing of return, etc. So a lot of them hesitates at this moment. Many of them have not, reached that threshold value also in terms of, GST registration, etc. So those challenges are there, whether I should do and those investment or not. So, but good inputs. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. We'd like to stop it here, and we'll be sharing, if you allow, and you can share this presentation to all of them so that they can, understand whatever you have, already discussed. So, Arina, if you can just wind it up.
Jamil, before we close, one last point from my side, and I was discussing with Arina in the morning. That is about warehousing. Okay.
Yeah.
There are many of our entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs today who are present here, are into businesses of perishable goods or any such other areas. Okay.
Right.
Now, here, what I would suggest is that there is an association called Warehousing Association of India.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Now, ASCP, that is Association of Supply Chain Professionals, we are in touch with Warehousing Association of India, and we can, kind of introduce you to, contact base or banglalanatok.com to Warehousing Association of India. And through them, you can get a lot of information regarding availability of such warehouses in different parts of the country, and particularly in Northeast, in Nagaland and other areas.
Oh,
okay?
Wonderful.
So
it's a very good input, sir. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
That information, I think, will be helpful. Okay. And the last point I would like to bring in over here, which many of our women entrepreneurs have raised, particularly who are operating from Northeast, Nagaland, Dimapur, and locations, areas around that, is, they are finding it difficult to purchase the right raw material at the right cost.
Right.
So my suggestion to them would be to also explore option of buying raw material through e-commerce platform. Today, there are many e-commerce platforms who are also, selling the kind of material that you consider as a raw material for your product.
Right. Right.
Okay. For example, let us say if I am making ketchup, okay, and I need tomatoes, okay, and there are many grocery e-commerce shops, okay. Now, and very large ones, pan-India ones, big basket, and such kind of e-commerce platforms are there. Can you tie up with them to ensure that they supply you the raw material like tomato? In this case, I'm just giving one example, to you in time and in the right quantity. So these are the things that one can also consider for sourcing of raw material at the right time and the right cost. Okay. So these were some of the thoughts I wanted to bring in to address some of the concerns that the women entrepreneurs have. Thank you.
Yes. I think this is very useful information for me also. I think these warehousing associations of India who provides warehousing facility across India will be a very useful thing, especially for our entrepreneur. They can't own or rent a warehouse on their own. They might find it difficult. So they can, actually take a space on a rental, something like that, whatever it is there. We'll try to get some more information about them, and we'll share this with them so that they can benefit. Orina and I will work on that. If required, we'll take help from you and your associations. And the second point which you have mentioned, that they should try to buy their raw materials from online channel itself. Yes, there are like India Marts, then there are like Uran, etc. They are working in the B2B space. I think that will be also helpful for them. Instead of buying from the local vendor, if they can buy it from them and get the delivery in their own premises, I think that is something that they can also do. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the input. Orina, over to you. So to end this today's session.
Thank you so much. It was a very engaging and informative session, sir. So most of our entrepreneurs, as you know, are early stage entrepreneurs, and they are trying to understand the language of business, and these different terms may be new for many. And there might be some language difficulties because we are targeting entrepreneurs who are settled in different geographical regions. So because of interest of everyone, the mode of communication was English. But any of you, if you have any problem regarding understanding the content, please contact with us. I think most of you have my phone number, and also the Facebook link and everything. You can connect with us directly, because we would like to transmit these information and the knowledge which sir has shared in today's evening with all of you, because I think this is very beneficial for everyone. So if any one of you have any question, you can switch on the mic. Otherwise, we would like to end the session because it's more than an hour, and I don't want to put everyone wait this evening. So thank you on behalf of Contact Base and on behalf of our ecosystem of entrepreneurs that we are trying to build. Thank you for your time, and we would like to connect with you as a mentor and as an expert for our entrepreneurs in our future sessions and also our future endeavors.
Thank you, Arina. It was a pleasure for me also to join this. I would consider it as an elite group. They are really the stars. Okay. Personally, right. I admire them because I never became an entrepreneur myself. Okay. I worked for corporates.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
So all my best wishes to all of you, and certainly whatever help and whatever inputs I can give from my side, I'll be more than happy to come forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if they have any questions, I hope we can forward it to you for your expert advice.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, Jamil, and thank you everybody.
Yeah, Amitava, I will be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much.